Welcome to Play PSVR, the podcast where virtual reality is our reality. And actually, should I say, where virtual reality is my reality. Because today I'm solo, baby. And if I'm correct, Alex is shooting out that baby out of his beehole as we speak. But don't worry. The baby will be okay. His beehole is so loose that his stool just falls out. So I'm assuming the baby should just have to wiggle a little bit and come out pretty easily. Actually, now that I think about it, sorry for the disgusting visuals, but before I get demonetized from Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, I'm just going to plow forward. I'm just going to keep going. It is going to be a single segment podcast. Just me. It's going to be short and sweet and simple. Not going to ramble on. I'm going to stick with our typical routine and begin with our gamer juice. So I have been looking for a tea that will not stain my teeth. Has been fairly difficult as many teas are very dark and they have tannins which stain your teeth. However, I've come up upon one I've been using for about 2 weeks. I'm liking it. It's called matcha. So matcha tea is apparently in China. It's a whole thing. Essentially, it's a green tea, but it's grown in a certain way, and then they pound the living crap out of it to turn it into a powder. It has a lot of antioxidants. It's supposed to be healthier, has a little caffeine, helps you relax, helps you have more mental, not capacity, but you're able to focus a little more. It looks weird. When you mix it together, it's really dark green, and they have a whole ceremonial you gotta drink it out of a cup and you've got to whisk it into the hot water a certain way. The water shouldn't be above 175 degrees. It's a whole thing. I don't really understand it. I just make it like normal tea. It stains like a mother effer on your cup, but I mean, hopefully it doesn't stain my teeth. That's the point of it. And so I have matcha tea. It's very bitter. Kind of tastes like a little bit of seaweed along with green tea. But honestly, had I not told anybody and you tried matcha, it tastes just like green tea. Maybe a little more bitter, a little stronger, but that is what I am drinking tonight. So now we're going to cover the Powerade play of the week. And actually, you know what? Now that Alex isn't here, I want to do a side note. I'm probably going to have a lot of side notes here, but like I said, I'm going to try to keep this simple and sweet. Alex hates the fact that we have the Power A play of the week. He hates the fact that we're being endorsed by these people. It also is funny because they have, I think, I don't know, they sent us some swag. It wasn't much. I think Alex was like, oh, it's like $20 worth of material. And he hates how we've now had the Powerade play of the week for like, I don't know, a year maybe. I don't know. It's been a while. And so he thinks it's useless. I mean, you know, we have 700 listeners, several hundred a week. So it's not like they're getting anything crazy in return for giving us that, but it just aggravates them. I think it's funny. That's why I've kept it in. And that is why right now, while Alex is not here, I want to ask for partnerships from you, the listeners. If you want a segment named after you, if you want to be endorsed, I don't give a crap, man. I mean, we got to make it official. Send us some bubble gum, a keychain, a used sock. I don't give a crap how useless it is of what you give us, but you can have your own. I mean, I hope you come up with something interesting and completely useless. I hope it doesn't cost you a dime. I think it would be hilarious. But if you are interested in that, if you want a segment named solely after you, go to email contact@playpsvr.com. I want to hear your thoughts, and we have other things in this episode I also need your opinion on. So you could double down, 2 birds, 1 stone, 1 email. Boom, let's do it. So the Powerade Play of the Week is the only VR game of the week, Shadow Legends VR. But it's not just the Power Play of the Week because it's the only game. It's actually a very good game. I played this on my golden stream of the week. And so Shadow Legends VR, it actually has pretty good graphics. The overall aesthetic kind of reminds me of Skyrim, but the graphics are a little better than Skyrim. I mean, it's not a game in which you're going to think that, oh, I am now in medieval rooms. It's not necessarily realistic, but the graphics do look good. And so I was impressed with that, especially after being out of VR for a little while. Jumping back in, I assumed it would be a rough transition there a little bit, but no, a game looked great. Approximately 5 to 7 hours of gameplay, depending on how much you investigate and explore. So, one of my favorite things about the game, and it's really weird, this happened to me on several occasions, like even like Kingdom Hearts and other games that have little collectibles where you explore the world and you have to get, in this case, it's a room. So they hide these rooms everywhere. They're on top of the houses. There are birds that have them. They're hidden in grounds. They're on high shelves. There's some of them you got to take an arrow and shoot off a ledge. I mean, they're just hidden everywhere. And so each level has them. And for some reason, I love finding these things. I think part of it, especially in VR, it makes you explore. And because of that, there were a lot of things that I noticed that otherwise they would not have. For example, in the first, well, one of the very first places that you explore, there's like a little dog that follows you around. And if I weren't looking for runes, I would have probably saw the dog, petted him, and moved on toward what the mission was. But instead, because I was searching for runes, I found a stick that the dog would go and fetch with. And I found, and another thing I love about the game is that it's so interactive. That is something you can do. There's a cast iron skillet, a fire, and a steak. You actually have to grill the steak and you can eat it. That is awesome. There are points where you can actually make, they don't just give you a potion, you have to make it. No, it's very simple. You just throw some mushrooms in a vat and then you scoop that out and put it in a jar. I mean, it's very simple, but just that interaction is what makes VR special. And they included that very, very well. Even like sharpening your own swords. Most games you go and you have someone sharpen your sword for you and it increases the attack. Here you do it yourself. Very simple. You can't mess it up. But just that interactive added piece of the gameplay really does enhance the overall experience. And so the runes helped me find these interactive things where you don't need to do them, but it's just a nice ode to VR and something that the developers put in that I really enjoy. And so by looking for those runes, not only do you get new power ups and you're able to purchase new weapons and things of that nature, but it's just kind of cool. Also, if you want the platinum, you have to find them all. The gameplay is very fun. So you are essentially a knight. You have a host of weapons. I mean, you can have cannons, bows, spells. There's like a wand. Your sword, and then all those can be added to, like, it could be an electricity wand, or your sword can have fire, or the arrows could be ice, and all that stuff. So it's really fun because you can customize it to how you want. And the gameplay, you come upon an enemy, and it's not necessarily turn based, because you could just go and you could swipe and stab the enemy just recklessly and not really worry about the damage you're taking or anything. But the enemies do swing back at you. So either you take your sword and you could block their attack, which gives you some time to swipe at them before the next attack. Or, like I said, you can just swipe like a madman. But at later levels, I strongly suggest you actually learn how to block, and then you're able to deal damage without receiving any. But that is a really fun way of, kind of Skyrim. I feel as with Skyrim, though, most of the combat I just swiped and I just threw my sword around and it worked. But maybe I was also at too easy of a level too, and I'm not sure. But there is, not necessarily strategy, but it's kind of fun blocking then attacking, and that type of gameplay is really fun. It's a little slow paced. Like, it's not like you come upon an enemy and they're immediately starting trying to take hacks at you. You kind of have to wait, and then they attack you, you block it, you can swipe at them, then you may have to wait another 4 seconds, and then they'll attack. So it's a little slow paced, but when you actually do fight, it's a ton of fun. The one aspect I like is that this game is so gory. I love that because it has that physicality to it. I just think it's cool. It's something you don't see in VR games very often. And so in the gameplay, say you're fighting another warrior, and most of these are like undead warriors. So it's very much a, not zombies, but similar looking enemies. And so they're coming at you, this little skeleton warrior pretty much. And as you're fighting them, once they get to a certain damage point, you can chop off their limbs. And then the final blow is when you chop off their head. Their head goes flying in the air, and that is just awesome. It really is. It's sweet. There's another point where there was a skeleton that was in a guillotine, and you just walk up and you pull the guillotine, it chops the head off, and you see blood squirting out. I mean, it was just fairly rare, realistic. It's just awesome. I love that aspect of the game. I really think this game is the real deal. I'd probably, if I had to rate it, I didn't really think about this, I'd give it probably an 8. And it's good gameplay, $25. So not too bad for 7 hours of gameplay, especially if you want that platinum. You're probably going to have to play it through 2 or 3 times. And it really is. It's fun. I strongly encourage you to purchase this if it's a game that you like, the interactive gameplay and then the combat system. Take a couple looks at some videos, see what you think, and then I would say, if you even think you might like this, it's definitely worth the money and worth a playthrough. I think it's also a Steam or a Oculus game, and I mean, it had good reviews there too. So all around, good game for multiple VR platforms. Highly recommend it. So during our golden stream, which is, if you don't know, Wednesdays, typically 9 Eastern, sometimes 8. So we discussed, it's the beginning of the new year, and last year Alex lost the Platinum Challenge. He could not compete. I even took 2 or 3 months off, and he still could not beat me. I just reigned supreme. I knew I was going to beat him. I knew he didn't stand a chance, and I made him look foolish. And so now he must be punished. He lost the challenge, and he has to pay the ultimate price. And the ultimate price is having to drink a game of my choosing. But here's the thing. I am such an awesome host and a lover of our fans, and I want you to be part of this experience as well. First of all, this is what I'm thinking. I get a ton of ideas of what horrible gamer juices I could ask him to drink. I make a Twitter poll, maybe also a Reddit poll of, here are the top 4 or 5, and let you guys vote on which one that we think he should drink. And then he has to drink it live on the podcast. Either you can watch it live on our Twitch, or just we'll be sure to do a video so you can go to YouTube and watch it too. But that is what I'm thinking. I feel like it's very fitting. It's very doable. And we could really come up with some nasty stuff. So during our golden stream, we had several people chime in and give me good ideas for this challenge or this punishment. So here's some of the ones that people have come up with. Apple cider vinegar. Just give them a glass of that and make them drink it. That is disgusting. I wouldn't be able to do it. I can't. I hate vinegar. Of course, Alex is weird. He actually would probably like that. Straight up hot sauce, just like that Carolina Reaper hot sauce. A gallon of milk. Play PSVR Fry really wants him to drink a gallon of milk so he vomits live on the podcast. That would be hilarious. I have a feeling he wouldn't do it, but we can give it a shot. Milk with lemon. Feel like that could definitely be pretty nasty, but I mean, that's kind of nice. It would be nasty, but it wouldn't be horrible. Deer semen, which, I mean, the one thing I would request is, if you say something like deer semen, homeboy is not going to drink deer semen. I don't know where to get deer semen. Imagine a glass of deer semen. That would be so much deer semen. I don't even think they sell that. Good, I guess, good idea, funny idea, but there's no way for that to happen. Barley wine, don't even know what that is. Apparently a high alcoholic volume, and so he'll get crap-faced real quick. I guess if you see him get more and more drunk through the podcast, and by the end of the episode he is just wasted, maybe that would be kind of funny. I don't know. It's something to think about. That's not too bad. And then hot sauce and honey. I feel like that would be pretty disgusting too. You'd have that texture difference, and then the taste don't match. Yeah, that would probably be pretty nasty. So here's what I'm going to say. Give me your suggestions. So, like I said, I'm going to get a bunch of suggestions now, and then I'm going to make the final poll of maybe 4 or 5 of the best, most realistic ones that I think are the best. And then out of those, whichever ones you guys choose and vote on is what we will go with. So, contact at playpsvr.com. We've got Twitter, we've got Reddit. Even if you want to comment on a YouTube video, any way you want to contact us, let us know what you think would be a good gamer juice for a punishment for Alex. And then that'll be the plan. I'm excited for this. I think it's going to be real fun. It's a good idea. And I think the creativity, I mean, I've seen some of the stuff you guys do, and it's incredible. So I am pumped to hear what you're going to have to say. And I'm pumped to watch a dude just get blitzed by a horrible gamer juice. It's going to be awesome. I'm counting down the days. So you have 1 week from today to get all of your suggestions in. The following week, I will do the poll, and then it will be about 2-3 weeks until he will have to ingest that punishment gamer juice. Okay, so next thing is upcoming games. And we have 2 coming this week. The first is Throw Anything, and the I guess description says get secret missions from secret delivery agency and save the world from zombie horde in VR action game. Throw anything. There is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide as zombies climb up the walls, hoping to satisfy their appetite for brains. Face off against starving zombies in high-rise buildings across the globe. So I think this potentially has the ability to be pretty good. Obviously, everything is all based around how tracking works and how interactive it feels and how engaging and how they deal with the virtual reality aspect of the game. But it seems like kind of maybe a little smaller game. I don't think I've heard of the company that's developing it, so you never know what you're going to get in games like these, but it's worth giving it a shot. It comes out the 30th of January, so this one isn't coming out on Tuesday, and I need to do a little more research on the developers. I don't know. The graphics seem very, cartoonish. I mean, it's a zombie type game. It's not anything like Arizona Sunshine. It could be cool. Possibly check that out. I don't know the price of it either. So we have a little more information really to learn about this before we know whether to take a stab at it or not. The second game is Vigilante Ranger. It's an intense tower defense VR game that will transport you to a dystopian future where the machines have taken control of the world. Complete all the missions from the stages and defeat all the menacing bosses to become the savior of humanity. Pretty big stuff. So here's the thing with tower defense games. Corix is real good. I like Corix a lot. You have that there's a game with all the animals. I forgot what it was called. They're miniature animals. They were really cute, but it was essentially a tower defense game. That one wasn't as much fun. It was a little too difficult. I kind of saw what they were doing with each animal, had its own upgrades and its own, powers and things, but I don't know. I didn't really like that as much. And then there were other freaking tower defense games that I don't know. Corix really is the only one that I remember really liking. And so it's tough. A tower defense game has to be unique. It has to be like doable. It needs to be challenging, but it can't be too difficult. And there's certainly in like VR, I think it's important to utilize that VR aspect in a beneficial way. Like there were some tower defense games where you were the kind of the tower defense in a way, but there are also some like that. Man, that animal game is killing me. Why can't I not think about it? It's like I think it even has animal in the name. Regardless, that one or Corix, like you just are over the view, and then you are going to actually go and interact with everything on the playing field. I mean, even like Dark Eclipse, I think you could even consider that a tower defense game in a sense. I mean, it had its own spin on it, but a game like that, I think with that spin in the changes they made, it's not just a simple tower defense game. Anyhow, so all of that to say that I would be hesitant with this until you see some reviews. I'm going to try to see if we can get a code or something, or maybe buy it and play it, because this game could be, I mean, it could be one that is a very good, well-designed tower defense game that's unique and very much worth the time and the financial investment. But it could also be one that's like one of those that I'm just not really feeling. I would maybe play enough to review it, maybe do my best to beat it. But if it got too difficult, just say screw it. I'm not worrying about it. So those tend to be a little more iffy in terms of whether it's worth purchasing them or not. Then, so those are the only upcoming games. I actually had no airing of grievances. Everything this week has gone pretty good. Yeah, I'm living life here, guys. So I think, like I said, short and simple. I'm going to end it right here. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the support. Remember, so contact at playpsvr.com. If you have a promotion or if you want to partner with us, let us know. And more importantly, send your suggestions for Alex's Platinum Challenge punishment. The worst gamer juice you could think of that is also realistically possible to make him drink. That would be awesome. I don't want to see the man die on, live podcast, live TV, but I would like to see him struggle. I would like to see him really have to push through. I want to see the pain. I want him to never even consider challenging me in a platinum challenge or any challenge again. That's how painful I want this to be. Thank you again. Golden Streams Wednesdays at 9 o'clock Eastern time. We got all of our good stuff. Reddit, Twitter, email. Do all of it. I hope you come watch us, be interactive with us. We love you, and thank you for listening. This is Play PSVR, the podcast, where virtual reality is my reality.